Good evening, Speedgaming 2. We're here with another matchup in the spoiler Link to the Past randomizer tournament. We have a loser's bracket matchup between Flipheal and matt7898. Joining me on commentary here tonight is Clearmouse. Clearmouse, what are we looking forward to here?
Yo, Will, how's it going? We are looking forward to one heck of a matchup here between Matt and Flipheal. This is a spoiler log race as part of SGLIVE online portion for Link to the Past randomizer. Flipheal and Matt, I'm not actually sure if they faced each other directly in previous tournaments, but are they an absolute staple in the tournament scene? As soon as in this case we even get a cam on Matt, we're going to be able to see just how reactive and happy they will be. Basically playing this scene. Should be a really good time. And for stakes wise, this is an elimination battle. Double elimination bracket. This is the loser side. So unfortunately, for one of Matt or Flipheal, their tournament life is going to come to a spoiled ending, I guess. Ooh, all right. Oh, wow. We even have some really nice money here, straight out of Link's house. Okay, so initially early resources, at least money, bombs or whatever, don't ever seem to be a problem. As someone who, I guess, like maybe does more like piloting, for pilot spoiler, when you get 0 prep time, early anything, bombs, money, anything, is such a godsend. Don't have to panic. Basically, try to get early resources.
And a slight RNG advantage there for Matt as he gets both of the 50-50 bomb drops instead of just one for Flipheal. But nonetheless, both of them making their way here. It looks like they're going straight to the maze race with those bombs. So as we know, this is a spoiler seed. The runners had 15 minutes to prepare with the logs, check out where all of the items, where all of the keys, what all of the drop packs are, medallions, pendants, crystals, everything. And of course, they're going to beeline it straight to these boots sitting at the race game. So.
Oh, perfect. I completely understand why you would want to basically get those bombs.
Yep, this is a pretty clear option here to start at Link's house, come over this way with a bomb, and get those boots immediately in the first minute of the seed. We're going to head into Kakariko now, which is not uncommon. Flipheal's going to stop off and buy some bombs here. Matt's going to go ahead and head into Chicken Hut with that extra bomb that he pulled out of the grove south of the dig spot there. And inside the Chicken Hut, we have the flippers.
Ooh, nice. I thought you said flip, and then I didn't hear heal. I heard Urs, and so I got slightly confused. But it's okay. We're all good. And yeah, it looks like Matt is just maybe, I'm not sure if this is his way of optimizing the maximum number of bombs that he needs, because I guess like Flipheal, like he doesn't have to go basically to Chicken Hut, kind of like back around to the bomb shop, but it's all good. I'm gonna assume they also don't need Zora, because 300 rupees, it looks like if they're just kind of I guess like just whatever, they need bottle vendor, they can go buy bombs. Doesn't maybe look like money's gonna be too big of an issue.
Yeah, see about that. It's still a little early, but we do see a glove there from the
oh my gosh,
from the bottle merchant.
Yeah, did you just see what Matt picked up though on his side? He picked up.
Yes, he went out of the way to pick up a shield there. In the well. We see Matt save and quit out of the well. Flip's going to keep coming over here to Blind's Hut, so we'll see what's back here. We did have a question in the chat about what the pendants and crystals look like today. Swamp Palace is our green pendant, and then Tower of Hera and Skull Woods are the other two. And then for red crystals, Eastern Palace and Thieves Town are the two that are going to get us into the Pyramid Fairy check, should we need that today.
All right, sounds great. Yeah, looks like so Flipheal actually invested a little bit of early game time to go pick up the blue mail in the back of Blind's Hut. Actually, not an insignificant investment. I mean, so while blue mail is arguably one of the best safeties that you can get in this game, especially when it's a spoiler, you are probably on low percent already, so everything basically does half damage. Now, the fact that it's even not even Blind, so you kind of go all the way back down, and it's also behind the bombable hut. You gotta kind of like lift all those pots and everything. Could actually be. But I mean, then again, if it's the difference between preventing you from living and dying, it is 100% worth it to spend, I don't know, whatever, the 30-ish seconds to pick it up.
We see Flipheal heading straight to Waterfall Ferry for the hammer. Meanwhile, Matt has gone to the dam area and gotten the Moon Pearl and a bottle with a fairy in it. And now is checking Agina here.
Okay.
So,
Yeah.
Unless this is a book, this will be the end of his route.
Yeah. Oh, okay. It's almost like the book. It's like right next to the book in terms of the item alphabetical order is the bow, which
it's basically the same thing.
Yeah, well, I mean, I can never complain about a bow, fighting in the vicinity of desert, unless it's the second one. Oh, well, Flipheal. Wait, okay, that's right. Matt did get the pearl. I just told him.
Yeah, so they're crisscrossing each other's routes right now. Let's see if Matt's coming this way to maybe try and pick up a mini Moldorm Cave with this, or if he's just coming down to do Waterfall Ferry as well here. Looks like he is just zooming on past.
Whoa.
Oh.
Everything's fine. Everything's fine. This is why we got the heart container.
Matt, you have flippers. Matt, you have flippers.
It's actually hilarious. Matt and flippers have not particularly gotten along. It's okay. Matt has done the head rub of acknowledgement that yes, in fact, he does have flippers. This is why we absolutely love cameras on these guys. For some context, Matt's history with flippers in this particular mode, in this particular tournament, no less, hasn't necessarily been the smoothest. In game 1, he accidentally left his flippers in Mimic Cave after he pretty much was already at Trinex. So that was kind of an unfortunate double backing, basically.
Yeah,
and
that does sound unfortunate.
Yeah.
But it does look like, despite that, Matt is going to be presumably leading the charge here into Dark World with Flip about a screen and a half behind right now.
And overall,
mostly thanks to that blind set play that you mentioned earlier.
Yeah, exactly. And I mean, so right now, while Flipheal, again, it's just an early time investment in order to try and mitigate the risks of basically death. And the earlier, honestly, that you make these time investments, like the earlier you get the heart containers, the armor, the cape, the whatever, right? The more value potentially come. Just because if it's late game, you spend an extra 30 seconds for that maybe one heart container, maybe you don't necessarily need it, or maybe it won't even do you that much good. We are here again, a slightly divergent. Matt completely skipped out in Hype Cave. Looks like we need bomb bows, maybe Ice Palace entry, or in one of our medallion entries. I think you did mention that Mire and Turtle Rock are both crystals.
Yeah, and I will go ahead and say that Misery Mire is does require bombos to get into, so we do need that at some point today.
Okay.
And then Ether is the medallion for Turtle Rock. We're
going
to go ahead and let you guys in on those, since we know the runners won't be doing map checks to see those. We got a little bit of back and forth indecision here from Flipheal as Matt picks up his Ether out of Hype Cave. Or Bombos, yes.
Yeah, I mean, they pretty much look all the same, they're all
I made the mistake of saying Ether after referencing the Bombos, and then it got stuck in the brain. Yeah, so Flipheal's going to pick up his sword from Stumpy, and now we're going to see what Matt is going to continue on with. Looks like we're heading to Pod.
Oh, this actually... So, I mean, depending on maybe where the fire rod or the lamp is, this could be a bit spicy for Matt, just because, we are here on Green Hearts. Well, okay, he does also have Green Hearts, but you are here on Green Mail, at that, not Blue Mail that Flipheal has picked up. We are here on 4 Hearts, and, well, a lot of NMG ability. While, Matt may not, well, it's not quite like the NMG level health, he certainly has faced Helma under probably tougher circumstances.
The good news is that Matt does have that fairy that he picked up.
Oh, actually, that's a good point.
So that is the one safety he's got along with Cape, although he doesn't have any magic to use it with.
Yeah.
But yeah, so we're seeing some more divergence here as Flip's heading up the mountain, while Matt is going into Pod here.
Yeah, I mean, and to some extent, I do kind of wonder where that lamp is. It looks like, lamp would certainly be very helpful, just in terms, for Matt being in Pod. While I don't think Flipheal actually needs the lamp here in order to actually navigate the dark maze, because, as we can see, he is lickety split out.
Yeah, and having that sword for both runners is going to be, beneficial for these dark rooms. If Matt can get some magic, that Bombos could come in handy for cleaning up a mess in the Dark Turtles room, particularly. but we'll see. You know, he could find a fire source in here. We're not really sure exactly what the plan is.
Yeah, and that's certainly not to say that these guys aren't capable of doing. Ooh, that is a very nice flute. Also, now makes me wonder maybe a little bit on what Flipheal's early decision, I guess, to rescue the old man is. We just see him get a single arrow from the old man, and then just immediately save and quit. But it looks like maybe Flipheal is not interested in going to pod. We are getting something on Zora Ledge. Did we not want to get this the first time?
I'm a little confused because it seems like something we would have gotten on the first trip, or maybe there's some confusion over the item packs here.
Yeah,
it does look like he is searching for something in particular. Meanwhile, we saw Matt save and quit out of pod there, getting the flute.
Oh, so it's actually potentially going to be, looks like a double dip. Okay, so forget all of our concerns that he doesn't have to. You know what? Nobody wants to go and fight Helma in the dark on this set of equipment. So if it potentially is a required double dip, or maybe just a practical or practically required double dip, very, very sensible, especially if we basically get the flute and leave. Right? Flute is very convenient for fast travel. Certainly can save you a lot of overall time. Matt presumably does not have to go rescue the old man in order to get up the mountain. And of course, we know that Mire in this case is required, so that flute is definitely needed for the scene.
Yeah, so Flip still gets a little bit of magic.
Yeah,
I think he's going to need one more. I assume he's looking for...
Are we going to Ice Palace on this? Is that...
So my question might be if we're, saving up for a Spike Cave play. That could be a reason why Flip went up the mountain early.
So there is a tree, right? Like the way that you go through Dark Worlds, and he has the hammer, so he can just actually bonk that tree right before we enter the Dark World portal. Yeah,
of course he doesn't have, mirror or flute right now, so that would be a pretty long time investment to get to that. But this is also a pretty long time investment thus far, and between this and the trip to Zora and everything else, this has felt a little bit rough.
Yeah, and it looks like, so even the prize spikes, by the way, they are, for what is what, they are in the spoiler log, so you actually do have access to the enemies for what drops what. The part of, though, the gamble also, or maybe the reliance on prize pack, is that, well, every single drop is only a 50-50 chance. And so you could actually get kind of unlucky, depending on, in this case, how the RNG favors you, or in this case, does not favor you. It looks like Flipheal, unfortunately, looks quite frustrated, basically. And this looks like maybe this is a small variety pack then? You're getting small magic.
I'm pretty sure this is the small variety pack. With that fairy plus the cape and efficient dashing, I think he could probably make it work. You get more, you get some more mileage out of the revive delay or the iframes coming out of the fairy revive than you kind of anticipate. But yeah,
that's actually a good point as well. Yeah, the fairy revival does actually give you some additional iframes, and at this point, because we're on such low health, that extra boulder hit is not helping. But in fact, after we're basically on this low health, a fairy versus a red potion basically is no different, because we're not even over the 7 heart limit or maximum capacity.
Yeah,
I think Flipheal is certainly a bit more concerned, basically. So there must be something very good in Spike Cave for him to basically persist and get this one item.
Yeah. Please be kind here. Give him a fairy.
Oh my gosh. Flipheal has gotten so unlucky. Like, actually unlucky with the drops, with the prize pack, loot, I guess, or lack of loot. Okay, so he's going to use his fairy immediately, which is... Yeah, and part of, again, sometimes you can just get extremely unlucky. I believe there have been, before, in this case, they actually fixed the prize pack drops for standard entries you have to do the front of escape. I remember there was, at least one race where one runner, was able to go do stuff, and then the other runner tried to kill every enemy along the way and still didn't know what prize pack it was because they just literally never got a drop. And it looks like maybe Flipheal...
he wasn't going to make it and hard reset out of it to at least save the magic that he had accumulated up there.
Okay, so that's
looks like he is. It looks like he is sticking with this. So whatever is in whatever's in Spike Cave is going to be some sort of required progression
Yeah, it
here
has to be
that
something very,
is
very
getting
good.
something. Maybe
Mhm.
Mitzer Mirror would probably be my guess for how he has put his route together for this seed.
Mhm.
But yeah, this has been this has been tough to see. We got Master Sword there in Blind Cell in Thieves Town. That's the only, I think, major item he's picked up other than the half magic that he got out of the front of Skull Woods as well.
Oh, Matt, see, we already missed Matt. I missed, personally, Matt going to the front of Skull Woods. Okay. And yeah, so Flipheal, yeah, it looks like he is going to do his best. Even getting a small bomb jump distance, basically, like a bomb D boost.
I was gonna say, I've seen, it's been a long time, but I have seen like a Kaizo Link to the Past tack that kind of required
that you have to use this. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you had to use that.
Oh no, yeah. As you said, we need absolutely precise dashes. Any type of bonk, especially on this type of level, is not going to be sufficient.
Yeah.
And
poor
unfortunately,
Flip, you just kind of hope he can take a deep breath, get settled back in. Try something else. Basically, is the hope here of go find magic somewhere else, get that half magic out of front of Skull, and get the full refill off of that would be a good play, I think, for him.
Yeah, given that we just see, as you said, but we saw Matt pick up the half magic right now. Like going to Dark World, I mean, while you do have to go through the long way, it is still significantly better, probably to at least then you're guaranteed basically to succeed in Spike Cave, right? You have a full magic extension plus another full magic extension to get you through, and specifically with the cave, it does drain a little bit more magic than Burna. So that's kind of why you just need just ever so slightly a little bit more. All right, but looks like Flipheal's gonna try again. Meanwhile, I guess we're gonna see what cape and half magic is actually gonna get Matt. I really hope, for Flipheal's sake, that he actually gets there first. I don't know if that's gonna happen. It might. Matt looks like he's gonna get there a little bit faster, though.
Yeah. Okay, it is the mirror there.
You did call it.
Oh my gosh!
Victory. Okay, you know what? That is a huge sigh of relief. That is. I
can breathe again.
Yes.
All right, so we have mirror for both runners. I am so relieved to see that, especially for Flipheal.
Yeah, no, every single attempt in this case that Spike Cave was not successful, I think you just kind of could see just how much it would just really continue to basically affect him. And as you said, Flipheal, I think he's also had a lot of tournament experience. Is probably not the first time that he has felt frustrated or just very anxious, right, about his potential position in this race, where basically just things have just not gone wrong, right? When's the last time you've lost?
And spoiler is the worst mode for that sort of feeling, that sort of tilt, because you're already running on a ragged edge. You're gonna be playing on 4 or 5 hearts for a lot of the early seed and these kind of things, and you may have to do some of the harder Dark World boss fights on that sort of loadout with Fighter Sword, Master Sword, something like that. So, meanwhile, we have seen both of these runners take their mirrors and head straight to Swamp Palace.
Which is a pendant, by the way, Will?
Which is a pendant. And right now, we do not have a way of completing Swamp Palace, as we don't have the hook shot. So,
surely the hook shot won't be in here, right? Well, there's the fire rod.
There's a fire rod, but we're not leaving just yet.
Yeah, that's what it certainly seems like.
So no Specky clip today, regardless of whether or not it's legal. We don't have a hook shot.
That's true. That is true. Yes. And for official tournament announcements, at least for this one, Specky Club was announced by the Racing Admin Council at approximately 1:40 Eastern PM or earlier today that it is in fact deemed legal. SGL Online for this tournament has a 48-hour waiting period to basically make sure that things are okay. So it will be legal as of Friday 1:40 PM Eastern. Now, so assuming they don't have to come back with the hook shot, then they still cannot hook a Specky Clip.
That's Only if this race takes another 36 hours, though.
Yeah. Oh, that is true. That is technically correct. Actually, I wonder if race time has a hard limit of 24 hours. Actually, yeah, I've never actually tried this.
You know,
but...
I'm hoping we don't actually find out.
Okay, you know what? That's also a very fair deal.
But yeah, so we are heading to left side here, which you really one of the best locations to check whether you have a spoiler or not for it is over here on left side swamp. Especially when you have to do the even longer, slower way by coming through the vanilla fashion because you can't even get the hookshot locked key in the main lobby.
So sorry. Also, yeah.
Oh, go ahead.
Oh no, I was just gonna say minor correction on my part. It is not, in fact, the Racing Council. It is the ALTTPR Racing Community. No more council.
Or TARC.
It is an important distinction. Yes, or TARC. I should have actually just stuck with the acronym. Honestly, that would have been much safer.
Anyway, what did we come all the way to left side of swamp?
Do you think it's a big key? Out of curiosity, I'm sorry. I haven't actually looked at the log, by the way. So okay. It is the hookshot. We are running out. Why are we running out?
Because we're not done here, I guess.
Oh my god.
You come in here to get the hookshot so you can keep going through swamp, of course.
Great. Yes, that's exactly what we wanted to see. And man, imagine. Okay, again, this is the time where we say thank you, spoiler log, for being available. I'm not really sure if I wanted to come here without one. Yeah.
After you get your mirror out of a spike cave, the first thing you think is, oh, I need to go to hookless pendant swamp, right?
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, exactly. Oh, what on Fighter's Sword, actually, no less on Flipheal. But you know, Matt does have Master Sword, but it's I mean, it will be a little bit better, you know, at least on Argus. You know, significantly better, questionable, but I mean, you'd much rather have Master Sword versus Fighter Sword here.
Yeah. So what did we come here to get? We got a compass and an ice rod. That one seems a lot more required.
Okay, all right. that is okay. Well, at least we didn't have to go beat Argus, but we do have to use that hookshot. Oh wow. I mean, certainly I don't think these guys would have issues getting past the Molder 2 gap if they so needed to basically do under pressure. But yeah, the ice rod. This is a real classic location here for the ice rod. You know, pendant, swamp, hookless that you have to go into, and you need the hookshot in the back. Nice diver down though. Just enough health to basically do it.
Yep, and Matt's going to make his way. It looks like he's going to be going right back to Pod and then finish that up with Eastern Palace here. Now that he has the mirror, has the fire rod, I think has an extra heart container from the last time he was here. Yeah, the fire rod in particular is going to make this a whole heck of a lot comfier for him, though.
Oh yeah. No more dark turtles. I mean, we can still, you know, he can still hope for good RNG and basically just take down the turtles. Assuming they don't behave, though, you're very thankful for that fire rod, and especially in spoiler where you don't have a lot of buffer, you know, health, safety, time, even for that matter. Then yeah, that fire rod is definitely something very, very useful.
Yep. I don't remember Matt getting the big key, so that may be what we're heading here to the basement for.
Okay.
Yeah. And then Flip will be making his first trip there in the pod. He'll be looking to get the flute out of the back, in addition to cleaning up this dungeon and Eastern Palace. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so actually a very interesting choice on Matt's side to double dip pod, because actually, you know, from watching Flipheal's route, assuming in this case, you know, he only has to double dip pod or single dip pod in this particular case. Like, the flute is very nice. It definitely got Matt to his locations significantly faster. Does also probably save a little bit of time not having to rescue the old man. But still, it is an interesting decision, you know, on his part.
Yeah, that one, you know, coming into the Dark World like they did, and especially having that sword at Stumpy being so alluring, basically.
Yeah. Yes.
You know, you kind of want to fit that and Hype Cave into your route, and then the question of, is it worth it then to run then to pod or to put it off like Flipheal did?
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
I think there's probably a fair question there of, you know, how much value are you going to get to make that worth it? But at the same time, you know, we saw Matt putting that flute to work pretty much immediately after he left pod. You know, So I think it did kind of play out in his favor, especially being able to go activate it and then use that as an excuse to pick up that half magic, get the Thieves Town clear, and just kind of get a little bit more, settled into the seed, whereas Flip, as we saw, kind of got stuck on the hunt for a full magic bar, basically.
Yeah. Ooh, we are getting a little bit of maybe extra cash. It is free. I'm not sure if in this case we have any more strong uses for magic or for money, but it is there on the way for Flipheal. And it's also kind of interesting, he is choosing to Eastern first, so maybe something is very good here on Armos that can kind of help him out in pod.
If I had to guess, it's probably Flip wanting to refill that magic bar off of the fight here.
Oh, that is heads up thinking. Did not even think about that. You know what? The fire rod's no good if you don't have any, magic or, in this case, to use it for.
Exactly. So yeah, that
very, very heads up.
He may want to make some use of the cape as well while he's in there, especially going through some of the turtle rooms on the way to the boss. Very nice Helmassar fight there from Matt, who as we noted was doing that on green mail, so one hit would have at least cost him the ferry there. 20 rupees on Helmassar, so
I think you're absolutely spot on, by the way, about that magic desire to get his magic refilled, because so the Igors dropped a big magic right before Flipheal ran in, and you could definitely see the reaction where it's like, why couldn't you just drop that earlier and then I wouldn't have to be here,
Yeah, or why couldn't you have dropped that 10 minutes ago when I was trying to get the Spike K for that mirror? The game's got jokes, and sometimes they just aren't all that funny, if we're honest.
Unfortunate. Yeah. But all things considered, and I think you actually did bring a great point, actually. For while Matt, again, took the early investment to try and get that flute, going over to like Thieves Town, for example, to get the half magic and all of this, and another sword, for that matter, to basically make his way into Spike Cave, a bit easier, is actually kind of not desirable. It is quite slow, right? To basically get all the way over there. We don't even have mitts yet, by the way.
We do not have mitts yet.
Yeah, so we don't even have like the short waiting to go into Village of Outcast. Don't even bother like all the way, running from Sanctuary, right, to all the way to Kakariko Village.
There's an adage. There's an adage that's been told to me from wiser spoiler players than me, but like if you're going to go out of your way for quality of life items, especially things like swords, half magic, heart containers, you'd rather do it early in the seed and get the most use out of it that you can.
For sure.
Versus waiting until, routing those in when you're only going to have, 2 boss fights to use them on.
Yeah,
so
exactly.
I think from that standpoint, it was a good decision to go in early into Dark World when he's activating that flute, get the half magic, get that sword, get that extra heart container out of front of Thieves Town, because you saw how much easier it made his life, with some of these boss fights, with getting through Spike Cave, all these sorts of things. Those kind of additive kind of speed ups really do help if you can get them early enough at the seed and make the trade-off worth it.
Yeah, exactly, because you get a more of an opportunity to actually, use those safeties, right? Like, I mean, I guess, what's the point of picking up blue mail if you're never going to get hurt? It's, type of situation. It's just you get more opportunities to get hurt, I guess. By the way, we are seeing Flipheal and Matt to some extent picking up. Flipheal is, he's farming up to 500, so yes. Maybe something is on Sora.
Just maybe.
All right. Well, this.
I was gonna say that feels like a play you would reserve for if you were expecting to buy something expensive. And
yeah, I guess then it's kind of interesting then on Matt's side, because Flipheal having to basically go through Dark Basement. It's a very good location. Basically, it's like 200 and some odd rupees. I forget, maybe 240, something like that. Yeah. And so if he got the 100 from Eastern that we also saw Matt pick up. Just slightly swap with his original Cannonball chest location. But, that also does put Flipheal over 500, so I'm kind of curious now to see where Matt decides to go get his money.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting. Meanwhile, we're seeing Matt head right back into Dark World here south of Link's house, which means this is probably either K45 or we have 2 red crystals now for Matt.
Ooh.
Which is another thing that you need money for. But
yeah, thanks for our offer.
Yeah, we are seeing him come up to the bomb shop and pick up the 100 rupee big bomb. So presumably we are heading to something important here at the Pyramid Fairy checks.
Yeah, so I'm kind of looking at our tracker, what Rael has basically done for us, and despite seemingly having lots of things, we seemingly also seem to be missing lots of things. We don't have Mitts, for example. We also don't have Samaria. We don't have Ether. That also seems pretty required.
Yep, and while it's not necessarily required, we still haven't seen, for example, our lamp yet, which, given that we have, we've made our way through pod at least, but given that we still have Mire to do, I'm sure no one would complain if that showed up. Oh, hey, there's our Mitts, and hey, there's the money.
There's money. Okay, so, all right, Matt's all set then for fame and fortune. Not only do we have Mitts, we also now have Ice Palace access, both with Bombos and Fire Rod and Half Magic. I would always wish tempered upon everybody. In this particular case, I'm not necessarily sure Matt needs it for Coldster.
Well, looks like we're going to go to Zora first before we head to Cold Stare here.
Actually, very interesting. Zora must have something decent then, because I guess, presumably you might just run out of Zora, or I guess maybe you still save and quit, right? I guess I don't know. Getting out of this location isn't.
It depends. I mean, if you were looking at this from a before I do Ice Palace point of view, this could be Kano Samaria that we're heading to here.
Oh yeah, that's also a good point.
And we see that Matt does remember he has flippers this time, which is nice.
Yeah, he's already acknowledged that he has flippers. Certainly no reason to waste that acknowledgement. All right, what does Zora have today? It is, in fact, the Kano Samaria. Good call, Will. Looks like we are actually going to run out. Or was there a heart container on this ledge?
I saw something. See what was on the ledge, but yeah,
looks like a heart container.
I think we'll take a heart container here. So Flipheal now has 2 crystals done. Matt has 3 with the Thieves Town clear, or being up the Thieves Town clear here. And one thing that is allowed in these spoiler races is that runners are allowed to view their opponent's streams during the race. So they can know where their opponent is and what they've done and what they've run into during their races. So Matt, I'm not sure if he's the kind of person that chooses to pull up streams of his opponent during these races, or if he just kind of prefers to run his own race. But you can, if you get to a certain position in the race, kind of make decisions to, pick up a few extra safeties or skip a few extra safeties depending on where you stand and where you need to, necessarily pick up time, or if you have a little time to give in favor of a conservative play.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Oh no, that's certainly true. And right. So I believe in the past, at least from some of these races, Matt has taken a peek or two. Doesn't actively watch, but at what points he starts looking is somewhat more variable. So he could have actually seen maybe after some dungeons, where Flipheal was, that heart container pickup could have been influenced, basically by where he thought he was in the race. For sure.
And for example, we saw Flipheal skip the heart container that was in the map chest of Thieves Town here. And that's one that he probably would have grabbed in a more traditional situation, but I think he knows he's behind from, how things went. And so he's just going to have to play a little bit more on the edge, trying to just claw back seconds where he can, and really probably hoping for a mistake of some sort from Matt, probably going to take... you don't want to wish ill or anything like that, or throw the commentator jinx out there, but he's probably going to need a boss death or something like that to kind of get him back in it, being effectively a full dungeon behind at this point.
Yeah, that's certainly true. Because I think when you remarked after basically Flipheal finished pod, Matt was kind of already up one Thieves Town clear, as in this case Flipheal was going into the Village of Outcast area. My guess is then probably he may not pick up the half magic as well in Skull Woods. That was, still again an early time investment for Matt. It certainly paid off, quite well, because he basically got to do Spike Cave quite nicely, easily. But my guess is probably at this point, unless I think Flipheal truly thinks that he can't get through the rest of this game without half magic, that might be a worthwhile, basically luxury item at this point to skip. But then again, if Flipheal thinks it's worth it, then by all means go and grab it.
And I think potentially half magic could depend on what sort of Ganon fight we're looking at. Maybe if you can make those calculations that far out in advance.
Matt.
We
we're
got
gonna
a
live.
little puff party here, but
Alright, it's okay.
Fire Rod and Half Magic makes that a lot easier to corral. And then we see Flipheal getting his Master Sword on the way to Battle Blind.
Yeah, it doesn't really, I think, matter where that sword is. Flipheal. We like swords. We don't like shields on Flipheal's side, but we definitely like swords.
So yeah, we've answered the question of where is Kane. We've answered the question of where are mitts. We are still looking for that ether. Matt did pick up his Quake medallion on the way through Ice Palace, but that's not going to open any doors for him. So
it could. Well, it does turn the little dead rocks into those like yellow squash monster things. I mean, who hasn't wanted to Quake those things?
If only it worked after you already froze the dead rock in place.
That is also true. That is also very true. We need something to wake them up from their sleep.
Good news is that Bombos will get Matt into Misery Mire here, and presumably on his way to Crystal number 5, and then a quick mirror and into Desert for number 6.
Yeah, so I think outside of just the required items, the only thing we're kind of really straight looking for now is ether. Again, some nice luxury items to have. Tempered Sword would probably be one of the highest things on probably these guys' lists. Silvers would also be really nice, especially as you mentioned, depending on maybe what the Ganon loadout is. If you're only going to be stuck on Master Sword, silvers would be quite the boon. It'll basically cut down phase 4 significantly. Like no more 24 spins. You can just do 4 silver arrows, and that is way faster.
Yeah, I think in spoiler you have to have some real stanky bow and sword placements to actually